So my name is Elder Armitage, and this is Sister Armitage, and we are currently serving a mission in the Hungary Budapest mission, and we are serving in the beautiful city of Sopron. Today, we are privileged to have with us our great friends that we love, the Michaelsons, and they are, well, actually, we met them at the MTC, and we became instant
We loved
friends.
them right away.
Yeah,
We loved them.
and uh, and not just because they're serving in New Zealand, um, but we definitely I think became kindred friends. And
It was just we were partners in the MTC experience that they had, and we thought like it was meant to be because we just clicked
Absolutely.
right away. We clicked right away. We just love them.
all right, so we'll let you tell us about your background and where you're currently serving.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm Sister Michaelson. I grew up in Utah. We have 5 children. We've been married for 40 years. I was a stay-at-home mom, although I do have a degree in business management. I just never had the need or option to work, so I didn't put that degree to use. But I love working in an office environment. So originally, that's kind of what I was thinking that we would do on the mission was work in an office. But we are not doing that right now. But I'll let Elder Michaelson introduce himself.
Well, yes. Hello, I'm Elder Michaelson. I've been with Sister Michaelson, my companion, for more than 40 years now. And my background has been in human resource management. I've got a degree from the Utah State University. And throughout my entire career, it's been in human resource management, primarily in the healthcare sector. That's what I left. We are from Arizona, and we are happy to be here in New Zealand, the best mission in the world.
And we have wanted to serve a mission since we first got married. I got married before I was 21, and so that was our goal, is someday when we're retired, we wanted to do that. So this is really a dream come true for us, and we have a plan of serving multiple missions as well.
Yeah, and so as she said, we want to serve different types of missions, multiple missions. So we had in our mind that we would serve an MLS mission, a service mission for the leadership and the members, an office mission in the mission office, and a temple mission. So our first one happens to be here in a member leader service or support mission. And then our next one we'll pick and choose when that day comes to pass. So we're excited about being able to do that here. So let me just
tell us
share
where
with
you're
you.
currently serving.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So we're currently serving in the the northern furthest part, if you will, of New Zealand in a small town called Kaitaia. We have one of the largest ward boundaries in the area. So we have a car. It's about an hour and a half north, a half an hour to the west, a half hour to the east, about an hour and a half to the south of us. Our ward boundaries is pretty big. So we're used to driving in our car. Many of those roads, not all, but many of those roads are actually dirt roads to go down out into the countryside, if you will, to find some of our members that live in the smaller communities or out in the bush, as they would call it here. And so and then we have coast on both sides of us. We have beaches around us all over the place. And that is just a spectacular place to be, is at the beach at night watching the sunset.
Yeah.
All right.
So go ahead.
Yeah. So when we were applying for our mission, we were not aware that you can turn in your papers quite early. You just let them know what your availability date is. But we had a friend who had just returned from a mission, and they said, "Oh yeah, put your papers in as soon as you know when you're available." And so we did that. We knew we wanted to go English speaking, so we looked at availability in Great Britain, in Australia, in New Zealand, and kind of my number ones were the 3 New Zealand missions. And we actually emailed all of the mission presidents that had openings in the areas that we wanted to serve in. And we got some Zoom calls from several of them. And some of them said they just didn't have openings, even though the church website said they did. They didn't. But President Allen, who is our mission president here, was one of the people that responded. He did have openings. He mentioned that this was a highly sought after mission. So I feel like we got very blessed to still be here, because we didn't know him. But he said, after talking to us, because we wanted to make sure we were a right fit for them, he said, I will request you, you request me on the mission, and we'll see what happens. There's a chance that you won't get what you want, but there's also a chance that you will. So it worked out in our case.
Yeah, so we feel very blessed. When we submitted our application, it took us 3 weeks to get our call after that submission went through. And when we opened it up and saw that it was the New Zealand Auckland mission, that was, as Sister Michaelson said, that was our number one preference. And we took full advantage of the 8 preferences that you can put in the portal. We put a mission in every one of them. You don't have to, but we chose to do that. So we submitted our papers in May, but we told them that we weren't available until October 1. And we happened to get our call at the beginning of June, and it was to start on October 21st. So we started 3 weeks after our availability date. I think that varies, but in our case, it was 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm. And you're on a 12-month mission, right?
And we chose
Yes.
a 12-month mission.
Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
So what do we do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best part of a member leader support mission. And the member leader support, as we have been told by many, even those that are on our mission, every member leader support assignment probably has differences, even within the mission, let alone mission by mission. We are in the furthest north part of the country. Like I said earlier, we were assigned to a ward. Some of our colleagues or counterparts are assigned to branches. We have not yet been called to a ward calling, while we have some of our counterparts that are in the branch presidency, for example, or other leadership role. Even though we both had our opportunities to serve in the ward by teaching classes, teaching priesthood. Pam's right now doing 3 months, a 3-month assignment in the primary, helping with the music. So we don't have a particular ward calling. Our assignment when we came up here was to support the ward. And quite frankly, I would say that our primary role is to minister. We have gone through the entire ward directory and have tried to visit every family that is in that directory, or every individual. That is over 300 and some odd people that are on that. And we have an average sacrament meeting attendance of around 80 people. So you can see that there are a lot of people on our list that have gone inactive. And so our role has been to go out, and we've been out now on our mission for 4 months, and we spent the first 3, and we're still picking up the tail ends of some of this, just because of not being able to contact. But we have literally gone out to every home that we possibly could to find out either they're there and we get to talk with them and engage, or that they're not there. And if they're not there, we try to find out where they're at. Does the person know that person? Did they move? And many of them are related in a lot of ways. That's one thing that we have learned up here in this part of the country. There's a lot of relationships here. And the Maori culture, they know which tribe they come from. They know what their ancestries are. And so that's been helpful for us. So we do a lot of that. And we pretty much direct and guide our own schedule. We are members of the ward council. So we meet with the ward council on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, and are actively involved with that. We participate in ward activities. We have participated in youth activities to help support them. We have participated in temple trips down to the Hamilton Temple, and we're excited about the new temple that will be dedicated next month in Auckland.
Yeah.
And in fact,
Mhm.
we are serving later this month on that. So there's just a lot of different things that you can do in a member leader support role. Sister Michaelson.
Yeah, so I would say our day was so different than kind of what we expected, because we do a lot of meal prep. For whatever reason, we are feeding people, we are feeding missionaries, we are taking treats to zone meeting, and I'm cooking so much more than I ever expected. And that is like, wait, we should be out doing our job, but that is our job, is doing some of that. Like, we have a sister going home tomorrow, so we're looking for balloons to, and stuff to celebrate her, and make little lolly lays and stuff. So although that feels like, oh, we're not out there ministering to our families, that's part of the job too. That's part of what we get to do. So we have transitioned from going out every day searching for people to kind of having a list of people that we know we can help. And we have a dozen families that we are either meeting with weekly and providing lessons for them, or like one family, we're doing the strengthening marriage class with them, just them. And so it's turned more into a teaching mission now. So we're doing lots of lesson prep and activities for kids. We got a lot of kids that are primary age that have not ever come to primary, been to church. So we're trying to get them adjusted to what sitting for an hour looks like and all that kind of stuff. So it really is just, it feels like the young mission, but these are members who are all members of the church already and just need to be reminded of who the Savior is, and that he wants them.
Yeah, and let me just add this too. When we first got here and came into this area, our very first thing that we did was go meet with the bishop, tried to meet with his counselors, and all of the ward leadership. So anybody on the ward council, we went out to their homes, we visited with them to start building the relationship, understanding who was whom and how we could support them, and to understand what their challenges were and those types of things. We were fortunate in our case, after we met with our Elders Quorum president, he handed over to us a spreadsheet that had been prepared from the prior senior missionaries in this area, although they had left like 6 or 7 months before we got here. So it was a little stale, but they had prepared a spreadsheet of all of the people that they were working with. They had notes on them if they tried to contact them, if they weren't at the address, or they had moved, what that address was. So that was very helpful, because there are some, as we talked with some of our counterparts, they didn't walk into that. I requested specifically and was granted access to as like a ward clerk. Even though I'm not called as a ward clerk, they've put me into the MLS or into the tool system as a ward clerk. So I have access to membership information. We can get birthday lists and don't have to worry about having the ward clerk print those off. We can look for addresses. And that was a huge tool. I didn't get that until about the 3rd week in. And those first 2 weeks were a little frustrating for me, because I wanted information that I couldn't get at my fingertips. But we have it now. We take it with us wherever we go. If somebody, because we've had people challenge us and say, hey, what are you doing at my house? I've never been baptized in your church. And we can pull that right up and say, oh, well, do you remember back on this day on this year? maybe participating in the church. and the church out here, from especially people who have gone less active, they still refer to us as the Mormons. So we have to throw that out there once in a while. We're ever involved in the Mormon church? Oh, yeah, because we've told them that we're from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So just little things like that have helped us out, and just getting organized and using tools like that's been very, very helpful for us.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Love
So
that.
I'm going to add one more thing here.
Yeah.
We do have a set of elders that's in our ward as well. So we have, and then we're part of a district, and the elders that are in our ward assigned here that we work with, he happens to be the district leader. So, and our district consists of two other sets of elders and one set of sisters plus our elders. And then there's another senior couple that are there. So once a week we get together. So we are fully engaged in what's going on in the young elders and sisters missions, hearing their challenges and frustrations and their ongoings in terms of the work and activities. And we get to, mix and mingle with some of the other senior missionaries as well. So our missionaries here in our ward, we see them during the week. We try to have weekly coordination meetings so that we're not stepping on top of each other when we're going out and visiting, particularly ward members. We don't want members to feel like, geez, the missionaries just keep coming to our house all on the same day. So that's been helpful as well. And they're very much engaged in ward activities as well. They sponsor a weekly sports night, game nights over at the church, and that's for anybody in the community, members or non-members. And we do get a number of non-members that come to that each Friday night. And that's a missionary activity or effort. So we get to the benefits of seeing what happens in the mission. We go to zone conferences whenever they come up, and that's when we get to see other senior missionaries, the ward or the mission president and his wife and mission office people.
That's so fun. That's so fun. I mean, what we've found is same thing. The MLS missions are so different. You're just building your own schedule, and you're slowly learning what your purpose is in that mission, and it changes. Like you said, you were visiting everyone and now you're teaching lessons, and we have found each couple of weeks that we're out here, we find something new that we're like, oh, okay, now we're doing this, or now we're doing this. That's so exciting. So a little bit about finances. Have you found that the mission is about what they said, or how's that working for you?
For us, we've way overspent, way more than what they projected, and I don't feel like we're being crazy. Like we're not just out there going out to dinner every day. I think it could be our idea of service is food and feeding, and so we go to the store all the time, and it's mainly food. It's food that has been way more costly than was on the projected thing. But
and I will add, I suspect that the church's website, and I don't know how they get information to update that. New Zealand is an expensive country. I mean, food here is expensive. Something's super expensive. Gasoline is a lot more expensive here, and we have a mission car, and we pay for gas for that car. And we're filling up that tank at least once a week, sometimes more often than that, depending on our driving, again, because of the distances that we have. So I would say it is more expensive than what the site had. But I will also say that as we were looking for missions, as we kind of indicated earlier, sometimes it might say on the portal, on the mission or on the church's website that a mission has availability, and then we called and talked with the mission president, and they said no, there's no availability. So there's a little bit of lagging, I think, in terms of getting the data updated on the mission portal.
Yeah, and they have changed the wording. I can't remember. I was looking the other day, and it says something about, it used to have the amount, and now it says approximate or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
well, when I saw your video and you guys were you were checking to see if it was correct, and you were correct, I'm like, man, I'm definitely not.
no, I think we just made a goal for ourselves that we said, okay, could we do this? If we is this possible to even do this? And we found that it was, but we could spend much more if we, we're not doing the same type of things that you're doing where you're
we don't have fish and chip shops here. We don't have pies and bacon.
I know. Yeah. Well,
And they are good, by the way.
Yeah. And we're doing a lot. We're also doing a lot of senior missionary couples activities. Like once a month, we get together with this Northland zone, and so that's out to dinner. That's out, even doing an excursion, and it just enriches the mission. So yes, we're going to do that, and it costs a little bit more.
And actually, sometimes that's not. Sometimes it's just the lunch. We get together for lunch, so it's really just a lunch cost, and you're going to eat lunch anyhow, and gas. And other times it's an overnight stay, so you're getting a hotel room and you're having more meals. So it ebbs and flows, and that will be dependent on the individual and on the circumstances and the location.
For sure. You want to enjoy the things that you're doing there. We've seen some of the pictures that you posted, and we're a little jealous. We're loving the pictures of Hobbiton and the temple, and we know all those places, and we love them so much.
So here's a question for you. Your apartment, what's that like for you guys?
So we have a flat. It's a regular home. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, and it's comfortable. The kitchen is small, the fridge is small, but we have a washer and dryer, all the things we need. It's clean and comfortable.
It even came with 2 dishwashers, and you're looking at them. You're looking at them.
Yeah, so
it's okay. We have a dishwasher, but we've never used it.
Our flat is one of the more humble flats in our mission, and it's literally, I think, just because we're in one of the more humble parts of the mission, we would be out of place in a fancy new home here. It just wouldn't fit. So we love it.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exciting. So is there anything that you wished you would have brought with you that you couldn't find there, or anything that you did bring and you wished you wouldn't have?
So for me, I would have brought a lot more casual, and this is only because of where we are. That we're talking. Are you familiar with the Northland and the culture up here? It's very, very casual, very laid back. So for the first couple of weeks, we were wearing our normal shirt and tie and dresses and our heels and whatever. And then we'd go into homes and just be like, we are so overdressed. And so I went to the local Walmart type store and got a few more casual looking, still nice, but the clothes I brought, I just about put in my suitcase and just put away because it just doesn't fit.
Yeah.
Like nice shoes, like everybody wears Crocs or flip-flops.
Or bare feet.
And so just trying to be part of the people felt weird when we were dressed like we were.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I did the same thing. I've done the same thing. I brought a few polo shirts just for evening or P days, those types of activities. And I've since bought a few more of those types of clothes, shirts, so that we feel like we want the people that we're visiting to feel comfortable with us and comfortable in their own places, and not, and it's actually been mentioned to us. They feel good that we are more like them in that regard. So we've gotten some good positive feedback to that. We clearly go to church on Sundays, dressed up, suit and tie, general or mission conferences, zone conferences. We go in our suits and ties and things like that. It's summertime here, just coming off of summer. Actually, it's been a beautiful summer here. Short sleeve shirts have been just awesome. So we brought the appropriate, I think, clothing in that regard. I think for a couple of other things, when you ask anything that I wish I had, there are a few times that I wish I had a laptop. I just have our phone and my iPad, and there have been a few times just because I'm faster on a laptop, I can do better at it. I'm working around that, but in hindsight, I would have probably brought a laptop with me. I don't plan on buying one while I'm here, but that would have been something that I wish I would have had with me.
Yeah.
Okay, two things. Have you learned how to play touch rugby? And do you have all black shirts?
No, but our elders have the all black shirts, and they were gifted to them.
And I was
Oh, nice.
gifted
That's
an
nice.
all black tie clip. That's for sure. I was gifted that.
Yeah.
But
So is
no,
there
we have not learned rugby.
We
Oh,
haven't learned rugby, but let me tell you, we've introduced pickleball to this ward here, and they are loving it. And I just finished last week building a cornhole set, which we used for the first time at our Friday night game night, and it was a hit. Everybody loved it.
Oh yeah.
good.
Oh yeah. That's fun. It's awesome. So is there anything that we didn't ask you that you just wanted to share, any experiences that you've had that you'd like to share?
I think we've talked about a lot of them. A lot of our work, and this is where the mission just really is the best, and that is when you're working with individuals, when you're working with families, and you've seen that, and they know that they haven't been engaged in the church or with the gospel for many years. Many of them still have good, strong testimonies. They've just somehow kind of gotten off of the path a little bit, and we were told that COVID, took a toll on the ward members here. And so when there were a lot of members that have left the church because when they had to go home and worship from home through COVID, they didn't come back. And, I've talked with the bishop about that. And we when we go and visit with our members, you can tell that a lot of them have that testimony. And the ones that we are working with now and having family home evenings with on a regular basis or regular visits with, they're starting to come back to church a little bit. They
Awesome.
recognize what was missed in their lives, and they understand the need for and the blessings of attending church on Sundays. And the struggle is real for some of them. Some of them have now drifted far enough to have, gotten back into bad habits in their lives, things that they have to give up and things that they have to change. But we are seeing the blessings when we go to church and we see 10 or 12 or 14 people that we've been working with now all of a sudden coming to church with. We had a family that came this past Sunday for the first time, a father, single parent, 3 young kids. This was his first time back to church.
Awesome.
And it just warmed our hearts that they were there and made that commitment. And we've had some great experiences in their homes, super strong spiritual experiences with them. It's amazing. And not that you can't have those kind of experiences back in our own home wards, because I think as we've reflected a little bit, we could be living anywhere and being ministers to people around us. We should be doing this on a regular basis, whether you have a badge on your chest or not. We should be doing that as disciples of Jesus Christ. But it has just been such an experience to understand and get to know a culture that is very different than what we were used to. Very spiritual culture, by the way. The Maori people are very spiritual by their culture, and they're nice by nature here. They want to help you out. And in our case, I will tell you, I think that not only does the badge that we wear open doors for us, we can get into places just because we have a badge and people respect that. But the Maori culture also respects the senior people, right? Grandparents are well respected here. Your elders are well respected. We're both referred to as the elders are here. Even Sister Michaelson, the elders are here, right? And because of our age. And there's a lot of respect. The young people respect us. Even the older people that may not even want us. And we've, encountered some people that were shocked that we went to their house because they said, I sent a letter in 30 years ago saying, I don't want anybody back to my house. And the next thing you know, we're laughing and we're talking and we're having a good conversation with them. And because they're nice. And that has been a great experience for us.
Yeah. And what I would say is we see miracles all the time, which is amazing. Sometimes I'm like, I cannot believe I just witnessed what just went down, because it was miraculous who we bumped into, or like how they said, I was just praying that I would get some guidance and we show up. It's so awesome. I love that part.
That's so great. We have just loved talking to you and just reconnecting a little bit and finding out about your mission.
But I have to say this, as much as I love New Zealand, I think the Hungry Budapest mission is the best.
Wow, that's not coming from you. Wow. Yeah.
And now I will believe you if you can say that in the native language there in Hungary.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
We love you guys.
So,
We love you too. Thank you so much.
all right.
You're welcome.
You stay on the line, but for everybody else that's tuned in, we hope you have enjoyed this and obtained information. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Again, thanks everybody, and we'll see you all later.
Bye.
Thank you for inviting us. This has been great.
Yeah, you bet.